What's up, Online Empire Academy? I am so excited to be here. I have two absolutely incredible people with me, Mike and Britni. Ross, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a good day so far. We were just talking, and every time I talk to these guys, absolutely inspired what you guys are doing, and the way that you guys have taken FBA and made it your own is inspirational. Will you guys share your story with our group?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I'll let it start with
And
Mike because he
you want-
kind of started our story.
You always start at the beginning. Sure. So about 2002, right, is when I went full-time, self-employed. It was, the end of the year. Christmas was coming up. Kind of got let go from a job. Just bought a house and needed to do something quick, right? So I'd been selling stuff on eBay for a few months. I knew I could make money at it, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go look for another job. And I did look for a little bit of unemployment, and they cut me off after they cut me off.
It might have been
2 months.
3 weeks. Yeah, it was
3 weeks,
quick.
2 months, something like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Because I was reporting my numbers. From day one, I reported my numbers. And they didn't like that I was making money, and so they kicked me off, and that was fine because it validated, right, what I was doing. If they're not going to give me money for being poor, then I must not be poor, and I should just try and become less and less poor with this thing, and let's do it and make some money and make a real business out of it. So that's what I did. 10 years I sold full-time on eBay, and out of nowhere, and forgive me, I don't remember what the catalyst was, but somehow Amazon appeared, right? It was already there, but I found it in 2011, and I saw the opportunity, and I said, I'm going to put eBay on the back burner, and I pretty much dove into Amazon completely. I didn't tiptoe my way in, and part of that was that, I signed up for a coaching course, which cost me a few $1,000s. On day one, I set up the pro account, which meant I had to sell more than 40 items a month. I could do it. I dove in, and within a year of sending that first product into Amazon, Britni was able to quit her job. So I couldn't have built that business on eBay alone, not the business that I had.
We were very fortunate. Many people would say this would have been very scary. I was pregnant with our second child at the time he decided. So eBay was really building to a point where it was going to be a good income. Those first few years were learning curves, but it had really built into something quite successful. And then he comes home and says, I'm going to spend a few $1,000s. I'm going to get a coach. I'm not going to do eBay. I'm going to buy stuff at Walmart and put it on Amazon. And I'm sitting here very, very pregnant and looking at him like, you are crazy. There's no way this is a real thing. It's a scam. You're going to get taken. And what ended up happening is that November, December went very well on Amazon. We had our son in January. And I was on maternity leave for 12 weeks, but only 4 weeks were paid. And so we had this 8-week chunk of money gone that we'd been saving all year, that this was going to pay for those 8 weeks. And he came to me, and I'm always reading books on how to quit my job, how to figure this out, benefits and all that stuff you have to think about. And he came to me and he said, when you're able, if this is something you want to try, now would be the time for us to try and make it happen. When you are obviously I'd had a baby. So when you are able, let's give it a go. And so I would sit there every day. He'd bring all the toys or all the books. We did a lot of books back in the day. He'd bring them all up to the laptop, and I'd be sitting there with this, newborn baby, typing with one hand, creating listings, getting stuff listed, just to see, could we replace my income? Could we replace my income and the benefits? And it took us about 8 to 12 weeks, and we figured out, yes, we can do it. So I went back to work. We started getting all our ducks in a row in terms of the insurance and things like that you have to think about as an adult. But by that August, I was done, and I walked out of that cubicle, and it felt great. And I've never looked back. And I told him, if this Amazon thing goes downhill, he has to go find a cube job because I'm not doing it this time.
She'll go back after they fire me.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's seriously, every time I talk to you guys, I feel so inspired by what you've done. And genuinely, I'm telling you, anybody listening, anybody watching, these are the guys you need to be looking out for. They're doing huge things. They're being approached by huge people, and people want to know the information they're bringing to the table. If you haven't heard, they have I don't know, it's a vlog. Like, I don't know if it's on YouTube. I don't know what it is, but I've been watching like every one of your videos because I learn something new every time I watch. Like, they have IKEA bags that they take when they go to retail arbitrage, and they fill the IKEA bags because everyone has experienced when a bag rips and everything spills out all over the floor. Absolutely genius. I mean, you guys have built your own elevator. Like, I mean, it just, everything you guys are doing is absolutely inspirational. And again, you guys need to be watching this couple because they're doing it as a team. That's the most important thing. I mean, me and my wife, we both work with Brett's teams, and this is our life, and this is what we do. It's my favorite thing ever. And the fact that I have a couple to look up to has been absolutely inspirational. And I mean, watching your guys' videos, I think, are hilarious because there's dogs half the time in the videos, and I love that. But then like the tips that you guys give are absolutely amazing. And seriously, I'm inspired.
I started making these videos. I mean, I don't even know why necessarily, because we don't have anything to really sell or promote, and maybe someday we will, and that's fine. But I started going to conferences, Britni and I both, and I've enjoyed meeting the people that are on Facebook, and I've enjoyed putting faces to the names and talking and exchanging ideas, and it's all been so fun. And it's like, the conference doesn't have to necessarily stop just because I'm at home. Like, I still want to talk to people, even if it's a one-way conversation in a sense. Like, I'm making the videos and I'm finally getting comfortable with it. Like, the one I made last night was my favorite one. Because
I was so excited when he came home. Because
I didn't feel like it was just automatically bad. Like, I felt like the first couple, I was robotic and monotone, or maybe I'm monotone all the time. I've been told, whatever, doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm getting more comfortable. And I think anybody who's ever been scared to go on a podcast or to create a video or to step out and talk to people, like, all you have to do is do it 1, 2, maybe 3 times. And by the 4th or 5th time, it's like, oh my goodness, this is like not just easier, but it's fun. So thank you for the compliment on the videos. I appreciate it. It makes my day. We get like, anywhere from 60 to a few hundred views. And I know that's a big deal, right? Because we've only been doing it for a couple of weeks. But of those 60 to a few hundred views, it's nice to have a few people say, good job, because I don't know. You know what I mean? Unless somebody's telling you you're doing a good job.
You just hope for the best.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I hate to think that everybody's just like, oh no, another one. He's so embarrassing himself. But I don't care. If I embarrass myself a little bit, whatever.
I think what we didn't know we were missing in our lives, we went to CES in September, and then we went to Ecom Chicago in October. And what we were missing was talking to people about our business and what we do, and they already understand it to some degree. So there isn't this, like, with local friends and family and local people, you try to explain it, but then you have to really explain it because they don't get it. They're like, what do you want, Amazon? And to actually have people that we could talk to, it was like, you just felt like you could breathe. And we didn't know that was missing until we got to CES.
Yeah, the connections, Yeah. And that's all I'm trying to do with the videos is like, now the next time I go to a conference, more people will know who I am, and maybe I'm a little more approachable, and I get to talk to more people.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, this is something that for me, I watched one of your videos a few nights ago, and I walked away super inspired, and it kind of made me think. I remember having a conversation with my wife, and I was like, I love the podcast. I love the Online Empire Academy, but I want so much more. And like, I feel like there's so much more I can give. And, you know, she was kind of challenging me of like, what would it look like to become the best you? Like, what would the best you look like? And who would that be? And so I was sitting last night and thinking about it. And I remember your videos and the video you had posted about specifically your, it was your office and how you've turned your basement into this office, and you know, you put skateboard tape so you wouldn't slip down the stairs. I mean, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, this is absolutely genius. But I started to think, and I was like, that to me is the essence of real. It's like it's a real person talking about real life stuff, real life problems that they've solved. I mean, you created a pulley system that you can drop your retail arbitrage stuff down a chute. Like, I mean, it's just like, all of that is so freaking cool to me, because I mean, it's
all of that came from a YouTube video, because the guy, we have a gentleman who does work around our house, you know, plumbing breaks, he fixes it. So a handyman. And we said, we need an elevator. And so I'm Googling elevators and I'm like, these things are $13,000. We're looking at building a conveyor belt. Well, that's $10,000. This thing was built for under $2,000, and he just watched some YouTube videos and he's like, I think I got it figured out.
Yeah. All you have to do is go on YouTube and search garage to attic elevator or dump. Now, we didn't do garage to attic. We went garage to basement. Mm-hmm. And not every house is going to have the perfect setup for it, right? But our house had the perfect setup for it, and we made it happen, because you've got to do things in this business to make your life easier. And to efficient. Watch her, you know, trying to carry 50-pound boxes up or down the stairs, I don't think that would make any sense. Nobody enjoys, you know, like, nobody's getting a kick out of watching her risk death. So we put it in, we spent the money, it works great, you know, and I don't use it very often. I could use the exercise, right? I can handle a 50-pound box, and I probably need to carry some 50-pound boxes up and down stairs. But it is nice to have in those moments where you could really use something like that. So I you know, can't stress enough the importance of putting those tools in place that can work for your business. Like, every time you look at some part of your business and you're like, man, I really could use one of those. If you can afford it, do it. If you can't afford it, find a way to do it cheaper.
Yeah. Just get it done, because sitting around and wasting time. So say in the example of this elevator, I could carry 2 boxes down the steps and come back up and get another armful, or I could load it all into the elevator and drop it once and then unload it all at once. So what's more valuable, that $2,000 or all my time over the next 2, 3, 4 years, or somebody else's time? And, you know, now it's an employee's time that does all that. But down to your label makers and your barcode scanners, if you're manually typing in a UPC, spend the $15, get the scanner, because you'll make it up. You'll move more product in less time. So figure out how to move more product in less time, and those expenses won't matter as much.
And our basement is kind of, I mean, it's as big as our house up here, and we don't live down there. So eventually our parents are going to want to move in, and, you know, now they don't have to use the stairs.
That's perfect. I love it.
That would be very bad. I feel like our homeowner's insurance would frown.
Probably. It did break one.
Well, I love, like, I think a lot of people's reaction is, oh, I need to go get, you know, a bigger whatever, you know, I need to go get a warehouse. I need to go hire more people on. And I love the ingenuity, because you're like, okay, is that really the best option for our business? Is this what we need to do? And instead of moving to a warehouse or going to a bigger space, it's like, no, let's make the most of the space that we have. I love how many shelves. I mean, go watch the video. Like, we'll post links about this video, because you have so many shelves in that downstairs area, that basement area, that I was like, oh, that's it. And then you have a whole listing section in the middle, and a remote listing section that you can, like, move around. I love the ingenuity.
Do you remember the purple room where it was kind of just empty and there was nothing in there yet?
Totally.
I need to
We
get
need to
down
do a
there
new
and do
video.
it because I got it all set up. So.
Now it has mobile shelves. We
Big,
have 4
beautiful.
giant racks of mobile shelves. And then there's probably 3 or 4 tables along one wall. And that's just loaded with retail arbitrage stuff that we can't get to yet.
And you mentioned something that struck a chord with me. And I know this won't work for everybody in the world because we live in a rural area in Ohio. And the cost of living here is not that expensive. And you can get a damn nice house for not a ton of money. But I will say this, you said something about people needing to go get warehouses. And we kind of got to that stage. We were in our old house. It was less than half the size of this one. We were working out of basically a very small 2-car garage. 2 cars was all you could fit in it.
Yeah.
And the cars were never in there because that's where the business was. We were outgrowing that garage. And so we had a choice to make, right? We could go find a warehouse and pay somebody a bunch of rent, or we could build our business to the point where we can buy a house with a warehouse under it. And
it worked out.
So that's
for
what we
us.
did. You know, I mean, like I said, I look at this house as one of our business tools in a sense. You know, we saw a need. There was a tool we could use to fulfill that need. And all we had to do was earn enough money to pay for that tool. Turns out we get to live in it. We get to work out of it. And who knows, maybe someday we outgrow this one too. And maybe we do have to get a warehouse, but by God, by then I'm going to have something in place where I'll be able to have more, you know, some people there to really man it and manage it. And
we talked about the warehouse, and I really like working from home. I like being able to walk downstairs and do work. I don't want to commute somewhere. And that's that was my choice. And I had to ask myself, do I want to manage a warehouse? The answer is no. Some people do. Some people are really great at it. But my answer was no. And so if you're listening to this or watching and you're thinking, I'm in this tiny house or in a small apartment, or even if it's a large house, but you can't really work out of it, do you need a warehouse or do you need to find another solution? There are prep services. You could have your manufacturers ship direct to Amazon. There might be another answer. So I'm a big follower of Tim Ferriss. And one thing he says is to ask why 3 times. And then you might actually get to the root problem.
Explain.
And so if your problem is I've outgrown my office, I need a warehouse. Why? Well, because there's not enough space and I'm bringing in pallets. Well, why are you bringing in pallets? I'm bringing in more merchandise. Was there another way? We bring in pallets, and trust me, we live on a country road, and semi-truck drivers really get angry if they have to deliver pallets here. So we use a prep service for pallets. We have an employee for our OA, RA stuff, but when it comes to large shipments, we'll either ship direct to Amazon if that's an option, or we'll use one of the prep services out there.
But here's the other thing I do, because I like to have, in some cases, more than one solution for a problem. So yes, we do have a prep service. Maybe we have a few different prep services we use. I think we have 2 or 3 prep services that we use. But if we do need to have a pallet shipped here, and sometimes that's our best option, one thing you can do is talk to the freight company and ask if they can put that pallet on a pup, which is a 20. It's a half size truck, right? It's
26.
It's not a 50. You can ask them to put it on a pup, and if they can't put it on a pup, then just get in your car and go to your local business, like your industrial district, which is what I did. And I have 2 places in the same industrial park that are willing to accept pallets for me free.
That's awesome.
All they ask is that I'm there when the pallet gets there, and I take everything with me before I leave.
So having 4 or 5 pallets doesn't work.
And all I had to do was walk in the door and talk to somebody. That's really all I had to do. I didn't have to pay them any money. I didn't have to set up a meeting. I didn't have to.
It wasn't complicated.
I didn't have to beg or grovel. I said, hey guys, I've got a problem. I've got a pallet coming to my house, and we've got a gravel driveway. It's kind of on a hill. It's coming in a 53-footer. I don't know what to do. Can I use one of your docks for like 20 minutes? Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. And after it was all over, I was like, could we ever do that again? They're like, we'll take care of you.
That is so cool. I love it.
It took me 5 minutes to build like a relationship there. And but they did say, you're going to buy your next set of tires from us, right? Yeah, I absolutely will. I absolutely will buy my next set of tires from you. That's a deal, you know?
The worst thing that could have happened is they would have said no.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not going to call the police. They're not going to punch you in your face. They're not going to fight.
Nope.
They're going to say, no, that's not going to work. Okay, thanks. That's it.
Yeah.
It's better for him to do it. I think really I'm the one
I talked
that's more
to 3 different
introverted.
places. One place said, you'll need to talk to, you know, the warehouse manager about that, but he's not actually at the warehouse. He's down at the offices at the other end of town. And I said, thank you. I'll go do that. But on my way there, I stopped at 2 other places, and both of them said yes.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
I never got any no's. I went to 3 places and got 2 yeses and a maybe.
I love it. And we had talked a little bit before. You guys are geniuses with partnering with people. And I think this is a perfect example. Will you share just kind of what you guys are about to do with your community and how you're partnering with your community?
So this evening, we're going down to, our town has a small business incubator. So if you have an idea for a small business and you know, a product, they help you. They help you set it all up. And they work side by side with our local chamber of commerce. And they asked us, knowing we were Amazon sellers, to come in and do a presentation on how to get your product on Amazon. Because what they noticed is they have a need in their community, or in our community. They have all these products, and they don't know that next step. So a lot of people in our town don't understand that Amazon is available for anybody to sell on. They think a lot of them think it's just for books. But a lot of them think you have to sell direct to Amazon. And they don't, that's intimidating. I mean, I think that would be intimidating for a lot of us to negotiate terms with Amazon. And so we're going to go in, and I've developed an entire slide presentation as well as a 20-page, might as well be a book at this point, on all just the surface of what I think they need to know to be able to ask more questions. Mm-hmm. And they're obviously learning Amazon would take it'd be a textbook.
I hope they ask questions because we've got a 2-hour commitment here. So
yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of questions, but we're going in to help them learn how to sell their products on a broader marketplace. Wow. Some of these people don't even know how to set up a website. So I think we're going to offer them a lot of valuable information for their businesses.
Yeah. One guy's got me particularly excited. We don't know all of the people that are going to be at this presentation. Do we have a head count yet?
I think we're around 16 people.
Okay, so we got about 16 different people, 16 different business owners that want to know more about what we do and how they can do, not what we do, but how they can put their brand on Amazon, right? And I know that one of the guys that's coming to this presentation, he manufactures softballs. The only softballs made in America.
Yeah.
And
are you serious?
A heat-resistant softball. So I did not know this was a problem. Apparently in Ohio, it's no big deal. You can play softball anytime. The ball does what it does. But if you're down in Florida in the summer, apparently the core of the ball gets mushy from the heat, and then it makes the ball not go as far. So he's patented a special core that doesn't happen. And he's having them made in China, and now they're being like hand stitched by just women in their houses that he's contracted with. So he's empowering these women to be able to work from home locally, and they stitch all the balls, and he's got some automation as well. But he's got contracts with some of the big softball leagues, but he doesn't know how to put his product on Amazon. Like, it doesn't exist on Amazon. I'm like, don't you think there are people around the world that might want that?
Oh my gosh.
They say, where can I go to buy this ball? And I don't want to buy 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
I want to buy 10 for my high school. Or I want to buy 1 because I like to play softball. Like, he's got a really solid product that he's already selling. But this whole Amazon marketplace is it's very intimidating for people. We forget that it's intimidating because
totally.
I think we all do in this industry because we get it. we know Chris Green and the books, and we know all the Facebook groups, and we know where to go get our questions answered. But they don't have any idea who to reach out to.
I love it. And I love a lot of people. There's a purpose behind what they're doing, and there's always an angle, but I feel like you guys genuinely care about people. I mean, the first interaction I had with you guys, well, the second interaction besides when we were at the conference together, was you guys calling and helping me with an idea that I had. And
I'm not even sure if like, did you already have the idea, or was I like, you need to have this idea? Because I wasn't so sure. I knew you liked pipes. That's all I knew. And I was like, this guy could build an empire around pipes.
No, so I mean, for the audience, I just a fun thing on the side. I've always loved carpentry, but then I found that I could do artisan carpentry and restore vintage pipes, and so I started doing it. And I was like, oh, I'll try to sell them. It ended up selling really well, but I didn't really have anything to go off of. I was like, it's whatever. Like, it's just fun for me. And then Mike ended up contacting me. Well, we had talked a little bit that I did it, and Mike contacted me with like 1,000 ideas and totally opened my mind. And me and my wife are planning for the new year to like buy domain names and create all this content behind this specific idea. And it started from you guys. I didn't pay you. I didn't do anything. You wanted to like help my business grow. And I feel like that's so who you are, and which is so cool, because there's not many people like that out there.
I remember saying to her after we got off our chat, I was like, he had no idea what my motive was. Like, he was probably waiting up until the second that we hung up for me to like, like he was probably just waiting for it the whole time. But no, I didn't have, I get excited when I see inspired people, and when the subject of pipes came up, that just was inspiring to you, and I'm like, well, let's talk to this guy more, because he's inspired about something. And when I talk to inspired people, it gets me excited. I get inspired, and who knows? Maybe one day you'll be in a position to give me an idea.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. I hope everybody listening, you guys got as much value as I have. My sheet of paper is full with notes. Thank you for your vision and for what you guys are doing, not only for the Amazon community, but for your local community as well. It's truly an inspiration.
Thanks. It was an honor to be on here.
Absolutely.
Last thought. Can I give you a last thought? Because
please.
You're thanking me and Britni for, great ideas and inspiration and all this stuff. And up until a few weeks ago, I didn't know any better. I just thought that we were fumbling our way and like blindly walking through this thing that is self-employment and selling on Amazon. And I'm finding out that we do have, some value. We do have tips. We do have knowledge. And I'd say to anybody in your audience, like if you feel that way too, like, oh, I've got nothing to offer, I'm just doing the thing, I'm just going through the motions, rinse, repeat, rinse. Believe me, you've got all kinds of stuff in your head and in your actions that other people can learn from. And I only know this through experience. Like I said, a couple months ago, I had no idea that we had any value to offer to anybody. All I knew was that we were pretty good at running a business. And it turns out that I really think that everybody's got something to offer. So if you're not active on Facebook and you're not making videos and you're not, answering the call to do podcasts and things like that, 2016 is coming up. Q4 is almost over. It's a great time to discover new businesses and to expand the business you're in. And the best way to do that is to share,
network,
and network and communicate. And people are going to do the same with you. And, it's just great. We're having fun.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on. I know there's going to be people, a ton of emails bugging me about where they can get in touch with you. How can they get in touch with you? How can they find you guys? What's the best way?
So there's actually many. We're pretty reachable. Michael Ross, Britni Ross on Facebook.
Yeah.
You'll see we probably have a bunch of mutual friends. I co-manage a group called Your Sourced Inventory. It's a free Facebook group. We run a paid subscription service for shoes and clothes. But the Facebook group is free, and we throw in deals and tips and coupon codes, and we talk about all things clothing, shoes, or whatever might be floating around our heads that day. On YouTube,
Mike and Britni?
Mike and Britni Ross. I think it's just Mike and Britni Ross. Pretty straightforward. And then follow us on Periscope. We try to do one a week, a live Q&A. It's just at Britni_Ross on Periscope.
That's a lot to remember.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It's okay. I'll post all the links. I'm writing it all down. So I'll post all the links and make sure we get this in the video because I want people to get in touch with you. Please, please, please join their Periscope too. That's a great way to ask questions and to get answers too.
And we love getting questions. So if you're not going to be available for a live one, we usually do them Thursdays at 2:00. It's not going to happen this week. But you shoot us a question on Facebook and say, I want you to cover this on your next video. And whether that's YouTube or Periscope, and all the Periscopes I load up to YouTube. So if you miss one, it's no big deal. It'll be there. But reach out to us. We love meeting new people and chatting with them.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you for being on. I feel inspired. It's been fun.
All right, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, Empire, if you like this, you'll like the rest of our content. So go on to the onlineempireacademy.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Stitcher Radio, iTunes, all over the place. We'll be posting links to everything they just talked about and also our site. Thank you for listening. And until next time, have a fantastic day.